There's a pretty one, Ulysses. There it is.
Hello BookTube, I'm Sean the Book Maniac. Welcome back to my channel. I wasn't going to make a Black History Month TBR this year because I'm not planning to go crazy. I'm planning to read a little bit, but not a lot this year. But I didn't do a Friday reads or a Saturday reads or anything last weekend because I was a little bit under the weather. So I just wanted to say hello. So I'm going to make it very quick and dirty. Not dirty. That's another readathon. Quick. Black History Month TBR. So let's go. First of all, there is a Black History Month adjacent readathon going on for part of February. It's called Blackathon, and it is organized by some wonderful youngsters, young booktubers, young Black booktubers, and they're doing all kinds of stuff that looks really interesting, but I'm not going to be following any of that. I'll put a link to one or two of the announcement videos in the show notes, and you can please check it out. I also interviewed a really smart young man from Maryland, Raymond. He is the Goodreads host for Black Men Reads, a worldwide book club for Black men, and he recommended some nonfiction for Black History Month. I'll put a link to that video in the show notes. If you haven't checked it out, please do so, and one of those books has made it onto my TBR. I have also started a couple books that kind of tie in. One of them I purposefully set aside for Black History Month, but I couldn't wait until Tuesday, February 1st, so I started it maybe 2 days ago, and that is the mammoth 2021 African-American novel, The Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois by Honoree Fanonne Jeffers. And I'm doing it as an audio text combo. I have the ebook and I have the audiobook, and I'm doing them both together, and it's absolutely fabulous. I'm about 2%, 3% in. It's so good. Love the writing, love the way the story is starting out, and I've heard really good things. I've heard some mixed things about this novel. Some people say it's just too long. I'll be the judge of that, but I'm certainly engrossed in it in the early pages. So that is one of my books for Black History Month. And this one is a Canadian/Nigerian novel, Butter, Honey, Pig Bread by Francesca Ekwuyasi, and I started it about 4 or 5 days ago too, and really starting out beautifully. I didn't decide to read it 3 or 4 days ago with the idea that it would be a Black History Month read, but most of it I'm going to be reading in February, so that is in progress. So now to get to my actual TBR. These are books that I have in one form or another that I am planning to get to, and I haven't started yet. Usually when I read Black books for Black History Month, they're usually all fiction, but it did occur to me, somewhat belatedly, last year that, it is Black History Month. It's not Black Fiction Month. So I have chosen 2 works of nonfiction. One of them comes directly out of that chat I had with Raymond, and that is a new biography of Fannie Lou Hamer, who came back onto my radar when I read the biography of John Lewis last year. I believe I read it during Black History Month, if I'm remembering correctly. And there was a couple pages about Fannie Lou Hamer, a really important civil rights activist. And I thought, I want to know a lot more about John Lewis, but I also really want to know a lot more about Fannie Lou Hamer. And there is a short biography called Until I Am Free, Fannie Lou Hamer's Enduring Message to America by Keisha N. Blain. And if Keisha N. Blain is a familiar name to you, it might be because she is one of the co-editors, along with Ibram Kendi, of 400 Souls, A Community History of African America, 1619 to 2019, which is another book that Raymond talked about and sang the praises of. But it's her new book about Fannie Lou Hamer that it's only a couple hundred pages, I think. I'm going to read it in February. I can't wait. I might as well do the other work of nonfiction. And this one, I'm feeling a little bit, just a smidge uncomfortable including it in Black History Month, but it's, racism is a big part of the reality of Black people, sadly. And I am reading the Klux Klan in Canada, and I can't get the subtitle in my head. I'm just going to read it to you. A Century of Promoting Racism and Hate in the quote-unquote Peaceable Kingdom by Allan Bartley. It's belatedly dawning on me what a shithole country Canada is in many ways to do with race. It is shot through with racism from beginning to end, and so I want to know a lot more about the KKK. I'm aware that the KKK was really active in a small town, but quite a bit larger than my hometown, but only about a 45-minute drive from my hometown in rural Saskatchewan. And also that I had a cousin who lived in a small town in Alberta where it was also a KKK center. Not my cousins, but their next door neighbor, like the neighbor just down the road, had a big swastika on the barn. So yeah, I want to know a whole bunch more than that, and this book's going to teach me. Let's get back to fiction. I've had this short story collection. I think this was an alternate for last year's TBR, and I'm definitely going to start it. I don't know if I'm going to finish it in February, but I'm going to start it. A short story collection by Danielle Evans, Before You Suffocate Your Own Fool Self. This is her second short story collection, and most people are really familiar with her third one, The Office of Historical Corrections. This is the one from before that, which I have, and I want to get to it. I don't know when it was published. I can't read the publication date. The print is too small, but it came out before that one. And a year or two ago, I read a collection of poetry by the gay black poet Jericho Brown, The Tradition, and it just knocked my socks off. So I now have an ebook of an earlier collection of his called The New Testament, and I am going to read it in its entirety because it's only about 73 pages long during Black History Month. If you haven't read The Tradition, you must. That one was 2019, and this one, The New Testament, is 2014. So those are the ones that I'm definitely planning to get to during Black History Month, and here is a very short, it may not be a very short list, but these books I'm not going to talk about in any detail. If you're interested in them, this is my pile of possibilities. If I bail on something, and I usually end up bailing on something, these are some alternates and other books that if I'm really in the mood, I will also try to include, but certainly if not, I will be reading maybe later this year. And one is a fairly recent gay black short story collection, Kiss the Scars on the Back of My Neck. Gorgeous title, gorgeous cover, and the author is Joe Okonkwo, and it is about a variety of characters who find themselves at the crossroads of Black life in America. Say no more. Has a really high 4.64 rating on Goodreads. I don't have any friends who've read it, but when I look at the recent reviews, the first 3 that come up are all 5 stars. So yes, that one really intrigues me. This is a novel that I heard about when it came out, but not very much, just something very briefly, and I put it on my TBR, like on my Goodreads TBR, and I've been kind of keeping it in the back of my mind, but the early reviews had a low star rating, but I've just checked in the last few days, and it's come up to almost a 4-star average rating on Goodreads, and I've always loved the cover. So, Passage by Khary Lazarre-White. I love that cover, and it does sound really interesting, so that is on my pile of possibilities. And just one more. This is an anthology of, I don't know much about it, but it is an anthology of nonfiction writing about Black people in the Canadian West, on the prairies. I grew up in Saskatchewan. The prairie provinces are Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta. And this is an anthology of history and first-person accounts. I'm not sure, biographical something. I really don't know, but it's called The Black Prairie Archives and Anthology, and the editor is Karina Vernon, and I've long been curious about that one too. That came out in 2019. So that is it. I'm so excited. I want to get this TBR up. It's January 31st in Tokyo, so I want to get it up before February 1st rolls around, so you know what I am reading, what I'm going to be reading, and what I might try to fit in for Black History Month. Thanks for watching.